In 2017, my entire job was copying numbers between spreadsheets. That was it. That was the whole thing. Copying from one sheet, paste it into another, fix the same broken file every single Monday morning, and then do it all again the next week. I had zero experience in data engineering. I didn't even know that data engineering exists. And a few years after that, I was working as a data engineer building the kind of systems that entire companies run on. Now, I'm not telling you that to impress you. I'm telling you because if you could actually see the version of me that started this journey, confused, behind, no connections, no plan, you would stop believing that you are too far behind to do this yourself, because you are almost certainly ahead of where I was. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how it actually happened, the real story, the real first steps, and the exact things you can copy for your own start. And before we start, let me just say who I'm actually talking to in this playlist, because you might be one of a few different people right now. Maybe you are trying to switch careers into this field and you are standing at the bottom of the mountain with no idea which path goes up. I see you. That was me. Or maybe you are a student and you don't want to waste years the slow way. You want the honest shortcut that actually works. Or maybe you already work with data. You are in the field, but somewhere deep down, you know your foundation is shaky and you want to genuinely level up and learn how the senior people actually think. And maybe you are not even here for yourself. Maybe you are a manager or an architect and you are quietly leading data work you don't fully understand. And you are tired of that feeling. Or you run a small or growing company and you just want to build your data foundation the right way, once, instead of paying to rip it out and redo it in 2 years. If you are any of those people, you are in the right place. Stick with me. Let me start with the first thing almost everyone gets wrong, because I got it wrong too. And it cost me months. Most people believe that breaking into this field starts with finding the perfect course, the perfect YouTube playlist, the right certificate to put on their profile. So what do? They spend weeks, sometimes months, just choosing what to study, comparing courses, comparing platforms, reading reviews, asking on Reddit which bootcamp is best. And they feel busy. They feel like they are making progress, but they never actually start. They are stuck at the starting line. That is not where breaking in begins, right? It begins with one simple shift in who you are. You stop being a person who studies data and you become a person who moves data. Those are two completely different identities, and the entire gap between them is where real careers get built. So let me show you exactly what I mean, using my own story because it's the clearest example I have. Remember that spreadsheet I told you? I hated it. Every Monday I had to open it up and clean it by hand, delete the junk rows, fix the format, combine it with another file, the same boring steps over and over week after week. One Monday, sitting there reading it, I asked myself a question that genuinely changed the direction of my life. I asked, how would a computer do this for me automatically, so I never have to touch it again? That one question sent me to learn a little bit about Python. Not a lot, but enough to do that task. I didn't go and complete very big course. I learned just barely enough to write one small ugly script that could do my Monday cleanup for me. And that first script, it was genuinely terrible. It broke constantly, it threw errors I didn't understand. Half the time it did the wrong thing entirely. I had almost no idea what I was doing, and I copied a lot of it from Stack Overflow without fully understanding it. But the broken little script did something for me that no tutorial even had. It showed me the entire job of data engineering. Because when you strip away all the fancy words that we have currently in the data engineering space, that small little script is all about data engineering. You take data from wherever it currently lives, you reshape it, and clean it into something actually useful. You put it somewhere that people or dashboards or other systems can use it, and then you make that whole process run on its own, on a schedule without a human babysitting it, right? That's it. That's the entire job described in one sentence. Moving data from A to be. And the moment I truly understood that, everything changed. Every scary word I had been avoiding, every tool, every buzzword, every intimidating acronym I saw in the job description stopped being scary, because I finally saw the truth. They are all just details sitting underneath that one simple idea. Get the data, shape the data, deliver the data, automate the whole thing. Once you have that mental hook, everything else in this field has somewhere to hang. Now I want you to notice something really important that was not in that story. I did not go back to school for this. I did not go back to school to study data engineering. I did not enroll in a 2 years program for data engineering. I did not sign up for some expensive years-long course and wait for a piece of paper to give me permission to begin. Instead, I learned the exact thing that the work in front of me actually needed, right? And I learned it by doing that work badly at first and then getting a little bit better each time. The distinction is going to matter a lot as this playlist goes on, so I want to plant it in your mind right now. You don't need to go back to school to study data engineering, because here is the uncomfortable truth I wish someone had told me at the start. The way you have been told you are supposed to learn a brand new career, the classroom, the multi-years degree, the long structured program, is not the way that actually works for a field like this one, especially these days. I'm not saying learning is bad. I'm saying the path is mismatched for what you are trying to do. And a bit later in this playlist, I'm going to show you exactly why that traditional route can quietly cost you years of your life and what to do instead. So let me be fully honest with you about the timeline, because the internet lies about this constantly. You have seen the thumbnails, right? I became a data engineer in 90 days. From 0 to 6 figures in 3 months. For me, it was absolutely not 90 days, not even close. It was a couple of years of evening and weekends, learning things in completely the wrong order, reordering entire projects because I had learned the underlying concepts wrong the first time, quitting for a month because I felt hopeless, and then dragging myself back and starting again. It was messy, and there were plenty of nights I thought I just wasn't smart enough for it. But here is the single most important thing I have ever realized about that entire period. And if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this: almost none of that time was the material actually being hard, the courses or the concept, etc. The overwhelming majority of it was just me not knowing what to do next. I want you to really sit with that for a second, because it's the key to everything. If I add up all the time I spent genuinely learning, actually sitting down, understanding a concept, practicing it until it's stuck, that was maybe a third of the total, maybe less. So what was the other 2/3? It was being lost. It was starting at 50 different tutorials, wondering which one actually mattered. It was building the wrong project for 3 weeks. It was learning a tool I didn't need yet, while completely skipping the one that would have unlocked everything. And when you really understand that, it's actually incredible news for you, because being lost is a completely solvable problem. We can solve that. The skills themselves are far more learnable than you think. You are smart enough. I promise you that. It's the map that's the genuinely hard part. Knowing what to learn, in what exact order, and just as importantly, what to confidently ignore. And a map is something that can simply be handed to you. You don't have to earn the confusion. You can just start with the clarity. And these days, that map had one extra piece that didn't even exist when I started: learning to work alongside AI. So the machine handles the repetitive, boring parts while you focus on the actual thinking, system design, understanding the purpose of each tool, and understanding the full picture. I will come back to that because it's quietly becoming one of the most valuable skills in the whole field. If you take just one single thing away from this first video, let it be this: you are not behind and you don't need anyone's permission to start. What you need is one ugly first project, and you need a clear direction. That's the whole game at this stage. But before we even get to that direction, there is something that stops people even earlier than any technical challenge ever could. It is the single biggest reason why two people with the exact same courses, the exact same free time, and the exact same starting point get completely different results. One of them breaks into the field within a year, the other is still studying 2 years later with nothing to show of it. And the difference between those two people is not talent. And it's not intelligence. It comes down to one single mindset that almost no beginner is ever taught. And if you get this one thing wrong, I'm telling you honestly, no roadmap on earth will save you. You will do everything that looks right and still end up stuck. The one mindset that decides who actually breaks in and who stays stuck forever. Watch it before you touch single course. It's the most important one in this whole playlist.